Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In this video, we are going to discuss some examples related to the step response of the second order system. So, system block diagram is shown in front of you. The input is R of S, the output is C of S. This is the transfer function of the system, and there is the unity feedback, right? This one. Okay, so first of all, let's determine the closed loop transfer function, that is the net transfer function between input and the output. Output is C of S, input is R of S. So we can determine the closed loop transfer function using the equation that G of S, that is the forward uh, transfer function, 1 plus G of S into H of S, that is the open loop transfer function. So what is H of S over here? H of S is equal to 1, so it's a unity feedback. So that's why I can say that it is equal to G of S divided by 1 plus G of S, that will be equal to C of S divided by R of S. So this is the transfer function of the closed loop. So using this equation, this is G of S, this one, and divided by 1 plus GS, so we will get the closed loop transfer function. So this is given by this equation. Okay, so now we can compare this transfer function with our standard second order transfer function. So G of S is given as omega n square divided by S square plus 2 zeta omega n S plus omega n square. So from this one, if I compare this standard transfer function with this one, so we can say this there is a DC gain over here as well, KDC into omega n. So it is also the part of this one. Okay, now this is the omega n square. So from here I can write omega n square is equal to 25. So omega n will be equal to 5 radian per second, right? And this term in the standard function, it is 2 zeta omega n. So comparing it with this one, that is 5 is equal to 2 zeta omega n. So from here 2 zeta omega n is equal to 5, so we can find out the damping ratio or damping factor of this system. So that is equal to 0.5. So now if we know the natural frequency and the damping factor, we can find out the damping oscillation frequency. So omega d is equal to omega n into 1 minus zeta square, so that you can calculate by using the value of the zeta and the omega n. So that comes out to be 4.33 radians per second. Okay, now we can determine the delay time. So delay time is the time to reach from 0 to 50% of the time, and it is given by this equation 1 plus 0.7 into zeta by omega n. So you have zeta, you have omega, and you can find out that within 0.27 second it will attain the 50% of its finally set steady state value. And to compute the other specifications, time domain specifications, we need angle alpha, that is given as tangent inverse of 1 minus zeta square by zeta. So if we take this value of the zeta, that is equal to 0.5, and calculate this alpha, that comes out to be this one, 1.0467 radian, or it is equal to 60 degree, right? So now with the information of this, I can find out the rise time. Rise time is given by pi minus alpha by omega d, so this will be equal to 0.4834. I can calculate the peak time, that is pi by omega d, so TP will be equal to 0.725. I can calculate the overshoot. So overshoot is given by this equation. So just using the value of the zeta over here, I can find out that the MP is equal to 0.1632, or in terms of percentage it will be 16.32. And then I can find out the settling time, that is 4 by zeta omega n, so that is equal to 1.6 second. This is the 2% criteria, right? So according to 2% criteria, 4 should be considered over here. So we have calculated all the time domain specification. So if I zoom and look at this one, so here you can see that the delay time, that is the time to reach to the 50%, is 0.27 as we calculated, and the rise time, the time to reach from 0 to 100% of the value for the underdamped system, that is 0.4834 second. And then the time to reach the peak, first peak, that is this time, so that is equal to 0.725 second. And then system is going to reach within the 2% range of the steady state value, so that is the settling time. Within 1.6 second, its oscillations will decay to such a value that it will stay within the 2% range of its steady state value. Okay, so we have calculated all these time domain specifications, and we have seen the overshoot as well, that this overshoot is 16.32%. And the angle over here, if you look at with respect to the position of the poles, so if I zoom and show to you that this angle as we have calculated is 60 degrees. So our poles are located in such a way that this is going to make the angle of 60 degree with the negative real axis, and from this side it will be 180 minus 60 means 120 degree angle from the positive real axis and 60 degree from the negative real axis. So looking at these times and the other parameters, you can easily sketch the response of the system that is given by this transfer function. Okay, now let's look at the other example. The block diagram is given to us. Here is one loop, and then we have the integrator, and then there is another loop, unity feedback loop. Okay, so first of all, let's simplify this one. So simplifying this one using the closed loop expression GFS, that is the feed forward transfer function, and the loop gain is this one, this multiplied with this. So 1 plus g of s into h of s is to be considered. H of s is equal to this factor, and g of s is this one. Okay, so now with the considering this loop and writing down the closed loop transfer function, so you can see over here, this is g of s and 1 plus g of s into h of s. H of s is k of kh. So simplifying this one, you are going to get this expression. So we can replace it with this one, the equivalent of this one. So that is this, and now it is in series with this integrator. So multiplying these two, we will get the net transfer function, and that you can see over here, right? So we have multiplied these two together, these two are multiplied. Okay, so we are going to get this one. So now again we have the feedback loop, but this is the unity feedback loop. H of s is equal to 1 in this case. So now writing down the transfer function, net transfer function for this loop, so that is equal to g of s divided by 1 plus g of s. So that is equal to this transfer function. So k over j square plus b plus k into kh into s plus k is the final transfer function relating this input with the output. Okay, so now for this, what we need to determine, we need to determine the k and kh, these two constants, this one and this one, such that overshoot of this system is 0.2 or the 20%, and the peak time is 1 second, and the constant j and b are given to us, that should be equal to 1. Okay, so now it's very simple. Now you can first of all use the overshoot expression that we derived in the earlier videos. So MP is given by this expression, so set it equal to 0.2 and solve it for the zeta. So when you solve it for the zeta, it will be 0.456. So for this particular value of the damping factor, your overshoot will be equal to 20%. Okay, so we have calculated this zeta, and now we can calculate the other parameters, the damping frequency, because peak time is given to us. Peak time should be 1 second. So for taking this peak time, that is given as pi by omega d, so we can find out omega d. Omega d will be equal to pi by tp, and as it is 1, so omega d will be equal to 3.14 radian per second when tp is equal to 1 second. Okay, now calculating the natural frequency of your system. So omega n is equal to omega d by 1 minus zeta square, because omega d is equal to omega n into omega d is equal to omega n into 1 minus zeta square. So using that expression, we can write omega n is equal to this one, and we know omega d, we know this zeta, so we can find out the natural frequency of this second order system. Okay, now if I compare this one with this second order standard system, so over here this is our system that is written over here, right? And if I simplify it, because in this the standard equation for the second order system, this one, s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square, that should be equal to 0. So here should be 1. So for that I am going to divide this equation with the j. So if we divide with the j, we get this equation, And now if I compare it with this standard second order equation, so 2 zeta omega n is equal to this part, right, and the omega n square is equal to this part. So omega n square is equal to k by j, so omega n is equal to k by j under root. So we have this expression for the for the omega n. So omega n is this one. So from here I can write that the k is equal to j into omega n square, and we have calculated omega n, that is 3.53. J is given to us in the expression of the question, so that is 1. So taking that value over here, so we will get that k will be equal to 12.5 Newton meter. Now taking the other part of the equation, 2 zeta omega n, and that should be equal to this part. So comparing these two, I can write down this equation. Okay, so in this we know the b, we know the j, we know the k, we have evaluated it above, we know the natural frequency, we know the zeta, so kh can be evaluated from this equation, the only unknown. So if we solve it for kh, so that will be equal to 0.178, right? So we have calculated k and the kh. Now let's look at some other time domain parameters. So the alpha will be equal to tangent inverse of 1 minus zeta square by zeta, so that is 1.10 radian, and the rise time, that is pi minus alpha divided by omega d. So if you plug in the values, you will get it equal to 0.65 second, and you can also calculate the settling time for 2% criteria, that is 4 by zeta omega n, and for 5% criteria it is 3 by zeta omega n. So in 1.8 seconds it will reach within the 5% range of the steady state value, and within 2.48 seconds it will reach into the 2% range of your steady state value. Okay, now another example for this one system is given to you, that this is this second order system. Okay, and with the unity feedback, the zeta is 0.6, natural frequency is known, rise time, peak time, overshoot, and sampling time is to be determined when system is subjected to the unit step input. So very easy, just you will have to use the formulas, and you will have to calculate the value for all of these ones. Okay, so alpha, as we already know, is given by this equation, omega d by sigma. So how to calculate omega d? Omega d is equal to omega n into 1 minus zeta square. Zeta square is given, omega n is given, so omega d will be 4 radian per second. Sigma is equal to zeta omega n, so zeta and omega n is known, so that will be 3. So using this one we can find out the alpha. So alpha comes out to be 53.13 degree and 0.93 radian. Okay, so the rise time is given by this equation, just plug in the values, 0.5 seconds. Peak time is given by this equation. Now you know omega d, you can find out the peak time of your second order system. And then the maximum overshoot, that is 9.5%, right, and the settling time is 1.33 second for 2% criteria, and 1 second for the 5% criteria. So if I quickly sketch the response, so the desired value is 1, this CFT, so the response will be somewhat like this. So the peak time is 0.785, so this is 0.785 second, right, and the overshoot, this overshoot is 9.5%, right, and then if I look at the settling time, let's define this limit. This is the 2% limit line, so it is first time entering somewhere over here, and then it is going to stay in that range. So this time, as we calculated over here, for 2% criteria it is 1.33 seconds, so this is 1.33 second, right, and the rise time, so rise time is the time to reach to the 100%, so this time over here, this one is 0.55 second, so 0.55 second over here. So you can quickly sketch the response of your system if you calculate all of these parameters, that how your system will behave when it is subjected to the unit step input. Okay, so now taking some more example from your textbook. So this is the system given to you, second order system, and its response is also given. So here you can see the overshoot MP, that is equal to 0.254, So if I write in terms of percentage, it is 25.4%, and it occurs at time that is equal to peak time TP, either like this or this. Okay, so peak time is written like that. Okay, now we are given with the overshoot and we know the peak time. So using this information, we want to extract the other parameters of the system. First of all, we will be looking for this K, that what is this K and what is this T in your system, and then we will look for the other time domain specification. So input is the unit step and the peak time is known, that is 3 second, overshoot is known. So for first of all, we can determine the damping factor zeta for which that peak will be there. Peak time is known and the percentage overshoot is known. So we have derived this expression in the earlier videos. So using that one, we can find out the zeta. So zeta will be equal to 0.4 if this is the damping ratio. So our peak of 25.4% overshoot will occur at the time equal to 3 seconds. So using that one, the zeta is equal to 0.4. Now we can find out the peak, use this peak time expression, that is equal to pi by omega d. So we know that Tp is equal to 3, so we can find out the damping oscillation frequency, damped oscillation frequency. So that is 1.042 0.472 radian per second. Okay, so from this omega d we can find the natural frequency, because omega d is related with the natural frequency by this expression. We know the zeta, we know the omega d, so natural frequency of the system will be 1.14 radian per second. So once you calculate that one, and now let's look at the equivalent transfer function. So defining the closed loop transfer function for this system, so that will be equal to this one, k divided by s ts plus 1 plus k. Okay, so simplifying this one, we can write it like that, and if we take this t common out such that there is 1 over here, so we can write the system like that. And once we write in that form, we can compare it with this standard second order function. So that is s square plus 2 zeta omega n s plus omega n square. So here is 1, so that's why we have taken t common out from here. Okay, so after taking this common out, now what I can do, that omega n square is equal to k by t, right, by comparison. So omega n is equal to k by t, and by the comparison of this term with this one, 2 zeta omega n is equal to 1 by t. So I can write this expression. So from here I can write for the t. So the t is given by this equation, and the omega n relates k and t by this equation. So first of all, let's calculate the t. We know the zeta, we know the omega n. So if this information is known, t will be equal to 1.09, and then the k from this equation can be written as t times omega n square. So the k will be equal to 1.42, right? So for this function, we have evaluated all the parameters which were required. The k, the gain of your system, and this t, the time constant over here, and we have evaluated according to the given response of the system.